Me and myself. Hi, I'm Varshni. I'm an MLH coach. Oh, sorry about the music. I was trying to get it pulled up, but I think I don't have permissions with Google Chrome. Unfortunately, I'm a Safari user, so Google Chrome is a little confused using that. But thank you all so much for coming. We're starting the Gen AI Dev Tools 101 workshop. I'm super excited about this workshop. I think Gen AI is a really important tool to be using, and it's really, really cool that y'all have showed up to this so that we can get a really cool intro to Gen AI Dev Tools and we can learn a little bit more. So thank y'all all for saying hello. I know that it was a little bit of a rough start, but we're gonna get started. So I'll go ahead and continue the presentation. So just for a little fun fact about me, hi, I'm Varshni. I'm a coach at Major League Hacking. That's my little cartoon. And fun fact about me, I've moved 13 times in my life. So if y'all have ever moved, you know that it's a lot of work, and moving 13 times is a really long time. Very exciting. And hopefully I'll get to know y'all a little bit better throughout the session. I'm going to try to make it as interactive and interesting as possible. I know it's a little bit long. I've got you for about 2 hours. So hopefully we can make this super engaging. We've got a lot of demos planned, a lot of really exciting information that you can just put to work immediately. So super excited for that, and hope y'all are too. Hey, Wei. So we're going to get started. So I kind of wanted to just start in general with like an introduction. So I'm really thrilled to be spending the next 2 hours with y'all. We're going to explore how to build real working applications using some of the most powerful and accessible open source tools available today. So this is kind of just an intro to Gen AI tools in general. I wanted to start by just making like a really bold claim that AI tools are not just like a library or a framework. They're kind of a fundamental shift about how developers think about software, because we've always thought about kind of logic-based programming and how to go through things programmatically, but we're always been telling the computer how to perform every single step. That's kind of what programs have been in the past. But right now we're kind of entering this part of a new era where we're going into intent-based creation. Because this is where we're telling the tools what we want to achieve, and they can handle the how. So y'all have all definitely probably used Gemini, ChatGPT in, educational purposes or just daily life purposes. So now we're able to tell these tools what we want to achieve, and they can handle how they're doing that. So this is giving us a cool new kind of superpower, and that's kind of going to be the trend for today, which is learning more things that you can do with these tools and kind of developing these superpowers. So we have the ability to build with ambiguity, creativity, and a deep understanding of what the human language is. So previously we'd just only be able to design in coding languages and things that computers can understand. But now, because of natural language processing, we can focus more on that specifically. So also, Wei just dropped the check-in link here. I'll pin that really quick. Make sure that y'all check in at that link. It gives us really useful information, and we've been giving a lot of swag recently for events that y'all check into. So definitely make sure you check into that if you're watching. That way we can make this 2-hour session even worth more of your while. So yeah, I just wanted to set the stage really quick about what we're going to do and just what in general Gen AI is, if y'all haven't gotten an intro yet. So I kind of wanted to start with an icebreaker / audience poll. So I've got 4 options up here. They're kind of general. Feel free to, mention what you are if you're a mix of something in the middle. But yeah, just let me know what you are. Are you like an explorer? You're just kind of here to see what's possible. You've heard of Gen AI. You're not really sure how to use it. B, are you a user? So a regular user, you use Gemini, you use ChatGPT. Are you a tinkerer? Have you built some code? Have you tried to build a simple app? Have you done a little bit with Gemini, but you want a little bit more information? Or are you the full builder where you've actively built and deployed a lot of different Gen AI applications? Let me know. Text in the YouTube channel and also in thread. Oh, okay. I see Bamble772 says they're B. Perfect. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely a regular user too. Gemini is very, very useful. Oh, I see Wei and Straight Rogue 16 also are saying C. Y'all are tinkerers. Very cool. You're trying to build a simple app. If y'all are tinkerers and you're trying to build apps, let me know what you're building, and I can try to incorporate that into what we're going to be talking about today and how you can build more on your specific projects with the tools that I'm going to mention. I see Abiolac says that they have a couple of proof of concept using GenAI. Very cool. Yeah, it's definitely very useful to use GenAI for proof of concept so that you can get a little bit more information. You get a lot of different ideas. Ooh, okay, a thinker wanting to be builder. Very cool, Saketh. You came to the right place. You're going to learn a lot about different AI tools that you can use. They call me the explorer. Okay, very interesting. Yeah, it's really good that y'all are here joining this session and getting to learn more about these tools. Thank y'all so much for putting all of this interaction in the chat. I love to see it. Love to see everyone engaged. I'm seeing a lot of B's and C's. Ooh, link for this schedule. Let me get that for you right now. Yeah, so by the way, if any of y'all don't have the schedule or the challenges, make sure y'all head to Global Hack Week MLH. Right now, we've got the GenAI Global Hack Week going on, and all of that is linked here. Let me put that in the chat for you. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Quackers and Cheese, for getting that in. But yeah, that's the schedule that you can use. Here, let me show that. And that's what you can use for the schedule and also for any of the challenges that we're doing this week. So I think the poll is coming to an end. Ooh, I see an A. Very cool. The Explorer. Glad you came here. You're going to learn a lot about different AI tools. This is going to be like a general intro session about a lot of different tools, and you can use a lot of these more in depth as well. I'm just going to do one more quick shout out for the check-in link. Make sure you check in. I'm going to take this off in just a couple of seconds so we can move on to the content of the session. But just make sure that y'all are going through that. And yeah, if y'all need the challenges links as well, there's a specific challenges week link that Quackers and Cheese posted in the chat. Thank you very much. Okay. I think we're almost done with the poll. Does anyone else have any final thoughts on anything else they're super excited about for this session? Any specific thing that they're excited to learn about? Anything that they're looking to build? I'll give like a couple of seconds for any of that to come in, and then I'll move on. Super excited that y'all are joining me here today. Ooh, yeah, Abhinav. Yeah, honestly, I think GenAI tools can definitely be used for serious projects. That's kind of the purpose of this session. I know it is really good for experimental purposes and to generate new ideas, but generative AI can actually be used for very important projects as well. Always, as I will cover towards the end of the session, it is very, very important to make sure that you're fact checking the output of generative AI and making sure that you're making like everything is correct and making sure it's not hallucinating or any other problems it could have. But you can definitely use it for serious projects. I have, and many people competing in hackathons have as well. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let me take away the check-in link and move on to the next slide. So I kind of wanted to also do this quick introduction of what the hype cycle is. So this happens a lot in technology. There's a brand new technology. There's so much hype surrounding it. Yeah, good for that. Yeah, let's see. I'm hoping that by the end of the session, you'll be a little bit more persuaded that you can use GenAI. But going more towards the AI expectations. So it's really, really important to manage expectations. Usually when new technology comes out, people are like, oh my God, it's new technology. Like they have a lot of different expectations. They're like, this is going to change the game for everything. And that's kind of the peak of inflated expectations. So it's where like AI will do everything. Like if you've been on the internet for the past 2 years, you've seen the hype surrounding AI, where it's like AI is going to do everything. It's going to be the new prompter for everything. And that's usually what happens in new technologies within tech. But then we've been living in this kind of section of peak of inflated expectations where every single news headline you see about AI is like, AI is doing everything. People are using AI more than ever. And this is often followed kind of like by the trove of disillusionment, where people are like, oh, this is a little bit harder than it looks. People are saying you can use AI for everything, but then you realize you actually can't because, it has hallucinations. There's a little bit of a high barrier to entry, and it's a little bit difficult to learn. So we're going to skip all of that. We're not going to go to the inflated expectations. We're not going to go to the disillusionment. We're going to go straight to our goal today, which is to understand that we need to fix these expectations and that we're going to focus on real tools, repeatable workflows, and things that you can actually build. So I want to take away all of these expectations you've been having that like AI is stressful, AI is hard to use, AI is concerning. I just want to take all of that away. We're going to focus on building real tools. And AI is taking jobs has been a really big headline for a long time. We're still seeing that headline today. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to have this session do, kind of take away this anxiety, this worry around AI, and show you how you can use AI to, build your repertoire, build your resume, and build your skills. So that's just a general what I wanted to do for today. And I kind of wanted to just cover this really quick, just in case you're a little bit confused about the different types of GenAI. So I kind of like to use this metaphor where you can think about generative AI as closed source and open source, two different types. So it's kind of the way you can think about it is like a metaphor. When you start building, you face a choice between two different worlds. On one side, you have the walled gardens, or you have the giants like OpenAI and Google. Their models are extremely powerful. They have a lot of computing power, a lot of resources, a lot of people working on them. And also, they're very easy to access via an API key. If any of you have used GenAI, you've used it in a hackathon, you know that you just generate that API key and now you have access to their model. So it's definitely very, very cool, very, very big. However, it does come with a catch. It's kind of a black box. You don't really know exactly how it works. Your costs can escalate. If you've ever used an API key, you know that you have a certain amount of credits. And if you pass those credits, it starts leaning into more costs. And also, you're locked into their platform. Once you join a specific platform, you can't really switch to other platforms. On the other side, you kind of have what I like to call an open frontier. So these are powered by companies like Meta and Mistral, the Hugging Face community, and these are championed by the open source community. So if any of y'all are unfamiliar, open source community is just where we can use a lot of different code. It's all available online. Anyone can contribute to it, and it's not a black box. Everything's very open. So this is kind of where we as developers get a lot of our really important information and power from these tools, because we have total customization over fine-tuning a model based on our specific data. The freedom of transparency, and also just owning your own stack and understanding what's going on behind the scenes. The engine of global community sharing tools and knowledge is through the open frontier. And that's going to be our focus today, because I want to explain something a little bit more that y'all can understand and you can see what's happening, as opposed to kind of like the black box of OpenAI and Google. It's very, very difficult to understand what's going on there without very, very high education. So definitely easier to go the open source, open frontier route for your intro. And you're totally right. Open source is best for developers, so we can understand what's going on under the hood and get a little bit more interaction with that. So just a quick intro to what the two different worlds were. And I wanted to, going backwards. Okay, there you go. So this is kind of the tools that we're going to cover today. I know y'all are super, super interested in what we're going to be covering for today in our session. So our session is going to be focusing on a really powerful, open source centric developers GenAI toolkit. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to use these three tools to cover basically the intros of GenAI. So first, we're going to be using Hugging Face. We're going to be using that to find and host our models. So it's kind of your AI universe. It has all of your models within it. And then we're going to be going to Streamlit. This is kind of our magic wand. If any of y'all are into Harry Potter, you know about the wands. And that's what you can think about the Streamlit wand as. This is your magic wand for building user interfaces in pure Python. You don't need any web development experience. And finally, I'm going to be covering Cursor, which is the AI native code editor that we're going to be using to write, debug, and refactor our code at basically superhuman speed. So this is kind of what bringing it back into that programming mention, where you'll be able to use Cursor for that specifically. So that's kind of the toolkit that y'all will have by the end of this stream. So my mission for the next 2 hours is to make you confident with these three tools. By the end, you'll be able to navigate the Hugging Face ecosystem, build a functional web AI app from scratch with Streamlit, which we'll do live on a demo, and use Cursor to accelerate your workflow. We have a ton of exciting content and live demos packed in. So let's get started. We'll be doing a Q&A at the end. Feel free to send your questions throughout. I'll definitely be answering, but if it's something more technical, I might save it to the end. So we're going to get started on Hugging Face first. So just a quick intro to Hugging Face. If you remember one thing from this whole stream, just remember that Hugging Face is kind of like the GitHub of AI. Just like GitHub is the go-to place for open source software and code collaboration, Hugging Face has become the central hub where machine learning happens out in the open. It's where developers, researchers, and companies come together to share models, data sets, and tools all in one place, just like how GitHub is for us. So just a quick sneak peek into the Hugging Face ecosystem, you can kind of think of it as another toolkit, except this one's 4 parts, that gives you ML superpowers. Again, there's that superpowers kind of theme that we're going to have throughout this presentation. First, you've got your model hub. This is kind of your crown jewel, most important. It has over 500,000 pre-trained models that you can use, and these cover tasks like text generation, translation, sentiment analysis, you name it. You can use them out of the box or fine-tune them with your own data based on your specific needs. Second, you have data sets. You can never have machine learning without data. So data is super important, and Hugging Face can host thousands of data sets that you can use to train and test your models. So think about like sentiment labeled tweets on X, open source medical records. It's just basically like a public library for ML data. Third, you have spaces. These are the most beginner-friendly features you'll find on Hugging Face. And these spaces let you host live ML demos with zero web development operations. So you can build a really small app with Streamlit, Gradio, or Flask, and you can connect it to a model and instantly share it. So we'll actually be doing that later today, and I'll show y'all you don't need any web development skills. You can just host something super easily. Finally, we've got libraries. Hugging Face has really powerful open source libraries that can help you build with modern AI. We've got 4 different types of libraries: transformers, diffusers, data sets, and other tools that can help you support scalable development. And we'll go a little bit more into that in the later slides. So I wanted to emphasize that the heart of the engine within Hugging Face and the models is the Transformers library. So this is the key library you'll probably interact with the most in Hugging Face's ecosystem, and it's called Transformers. You can think about it like the beating heart of Hugging Face. It's kind of what's running everything, and it's what is unlocking access to thousands of powerful pre-trained models, from GPT-style text generators like what you use in ChatGPT or Gemini, to BERT-based classifiers, and basically everything in between. This is what you need for that. The best part is that even though these models are very, very complex under the hood, it's like really difficult to understand what they are, that black box we were talking about earlier, you don't need to be a machine learning expert to use them. And this is thanks to one really, really cool tool, and it's called Pipeline. So Pipeline is basically just a magical function. And if you're just getting started, this is genuinely one of the easiest ways that you can learn about AI. So you can think of Pipeline as kind of a magical wrapper that works away all of this like really complicated ML stuff and things that are just not understandable, and lets you focus on what you want to do instead of how you want to do it. Again, not really needing to understand that specific process. So with one line of code, you can spin up a model that handles everything for you. So here's what Pipeline takes care of in specific 3 things. First, pre-processing, second, inference, and 3, post-processing. So these kind of just help you take in your raw input, turn it into a format that the model can understand, and then it runs your input through a deep neural network, and then it generates the output, converts that back into something that humans can read, like plain text or labels. So your job is simply just to tell the model what to do. With Pipeline, you just tell it the task that you want, and it sets everything up for you. So model loading, pre-processing, inference, decoding, it's all handled behind the scenes in that black box. So you can literally go from 0 to usable AI output with just one line of code. And you'll see that later in our demo. So when we say that Hugging AI or Hugging Face makes state-of-the-art AI super easy, we're really not exaggerating. So I'm actually going to show y'all really quick. This isn't the big demo that I was telling y'all about, but I still want to show you. It's actually very cool what you can do specifically with the terminal and showing image generation. So I want to know, have any of y'all done sentiment analysis or any of that before? If you do, drop it in the chat. Let me know what you've done. And I want to hear a little bit more about it. And while I'm stopping the screen really quick, just to add in my introduction to the VS Code so I can show you all the terminal. Give me 1 second. But yeah, while I'm doing that, make sure that y'all are able to go ahead and tell me a little bit more about Hey y'all, super sorry about that. It looks like my computer just restarted. Super sorry about that. I'm not sure why that happened all of a sudden, but we're back. We're still able to continue the stream. Super sorry about that. We're gonna get started. But yeah, let me show y'all exactly what I was talking about specifically with that code. I told y'all I was gonna talk about sentiment analysis a little bit and talk about how you can access this super cool, readily, super immediate AI quick little demo. So let me go ahead and open that up. So if y'all have VS Code or any other Visual Studio editor, make sure that y'all follow along with me. I'd be super excited if y'all would be able to do this demo with me. And yeah, quackers and cheese, random computer restart. You know, my computer's been giving me a lot of problems recently, and I can't believe it just restart on me in the middle of a stream. Really unfortunate. But yeah, Bamble, my Mac has been doing that all morning, unfortunately. I've been here for like 3 hours and it's restarted 4 times. So that's definitely a problem. But yeah, let me make sure that my computer's like stable and that I can run this, but I think we should be good. Let me double check. Okay, yes, we are good. So, like I said, please make sure that y'all are following me along on VS Code or any other code editor that you have. The whole purpose of this session is to get y'all really interested in these tools and to let you make sure that y'all are getting more involvement. So definitely follow along, and I would be super, super happy if I could see some engagement there. So here, oh gosh, okay, that infinity screen is not great, but let me go ahead and show y'all exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to go into VS Code. So I've got this file. If y'all don't know how to open up a file, just do appdo.py. Usually people do app.py, but I've ran this demo a couple of times on my computer before. So I already have app on my computer. So it'll just get confused if I do that. So also make sure that y'all, if you have any questions, make sure that you put that in the chat. I'll switch back and forth in a couple of times just to see if there's anything that anybody needs. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So make sure that y'all are in a code developer environment and open up a new terminal. So I'm going to go ahead and do Python 3 m venv Okay, and that's going to be one source that's going to create a new virtual environment. Ooh, okay, that wasn't very good. New virtual environment for me. So I'm going to do this just so that it's easier for me to install my specific code. And then I'm going to do source, then /bin/activate, and that's going to activate my virtual environment. So y'all will know once that's happened, once you have then up here in the corner. So in this file, I'm going to put in really quick code. So the whole purpose of this demo is to show y'all exactly just how quick you can do it. So I'm going to do from, oh no. Okay. I'm going to do from transformers import pipeline. And then I'm going to do classifier equals pipeline. So I was talking to y'all about sentiment analysis, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing right now. So we don't need all that. We just need sentiment analysis. So I purposefully did this now and not beforehand, so I could show y'all just how easy this is. And yeah, we're going to put classifier. I'm going to put, I absolutely love this workshop because I know y'all do, tuning in even after my computer reset there. So thank y'all so much. I'm going to go ahead and do print result. And so basically what this is doing is it's getting a pipeline, which is sentiment analysis. Like I was telling you, your one-stop shop for all those tools. And it's going to classify what I love this tool workshop sentiment is. Obviously, we wanted to see something really positive because, you know, you've absolutely love. Yes, Cyril, I did mention Cursor. You do have to download Cursor beforehand. So if y'all want to get started on downloading that, you can. However, I have built in time to the session to make sure that y'all have time to download that. So totally no worries. Take your time. Just make sure you're following along with this demo. Then we can worry about that a little bit later. It doesn't take that long to download. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do pip install transformers torch, and that's going to install the transformers library. So it went really quickly for me because I've already done this before. It might take a little bit longer for you. No worries. It's downloading all these libraries, so it's definitely going to take a little bit longer. That's not the right file. That's app do.py. Perfect. So now it's going to run that file, and now it's currently running the sentiment analysis on that. I absolutely love this workshop sentence, and it's going to be coming up in a little bit, but just because I've done this demo before doesn't mean that it's going to be really quick. It's going to take a little bit. So while I'm doing that, let me double check the chat. Yeah, honestly, sometimes sentiment analysis doesn't work as great as it should, but you know, it's a developing tool, so it's working. But hello. Oh, why is that not running? But yeah, we want to go ahead and put whatever file label you have and make sure that's running. So I've put in Python 3 for my specific computer. Oh, there it is. Perfect. So this is exactly what I was telling y'all. Super, super quick. What was that demo? Like less than 3 minutes? So now you can see that that statement, I absolutely love this workshop, is labeled positive with a really, really high score. That can definitely be rounded up to 1. And that's definitely because, you know, the exclamation point, absolutely love, things like that. So yeah, so hopefully y'all got this working. If not, no worries. We're going to have like an actual demo a little bit later. This was just a really, really quick way to show you that y'all can definitely do this at any time that you want and get involved in any sentiment analysis or any other super cool tools using Pipeline. So let me go ahead and go back to the slides. I'm going to stop doing this because this is giving an infinity screen and it's a little scary. So let me go ahead and open up the presentation again. Yeah, but that was super cool. I hope y'all found that like super interesting because that was definitely very, very cool to me the first time I learned about it. I think it's really, really cool that you can just do that immediately and it's able to get your sentiment analysis up and running as long as you download a couple of these libraries beforehand. But that's kind of also why I did it with the virtual environment. In case y'all are super new, virtual environments are usually just to protect your computer and not have anything running on your local computer. It's just a little bit easier. Sometimes it runs faster. So that's usually why I do that. But let me go ahead and, oh yeah, hello pal. We will definitely be sharing some reading resources at the end. I'll definitely be giving some more resources at the end. So just stay tuned on that a little bit and I'll get you started on that in a little bit. Just let me, It looks like when my computer restarted, it also closed all of my tabs and is refusing to open them up again. So I got to go back and get my presentation wherever that went. But whenever y'all have the time, just make sure that you've got that program working. Since there's a little bit of extra time, maybe you can see if you can try to get that working in this time. If not, totally no worries. Just make sure that y'all are going to be following along in the demo because that's where it really, really matters. So let me get that and see if I can get it running. And also, just in case you missed it, you do need Cursor downloaded in case y'all didn't hear it. You don't need to do it now, but if your computer is slow, maybe get that started. It's just a quick download button. But yeah, you can make sure that you do that before we start the Cursor section. Basically, it helps in not burning resistance and running models. Yeah, that's basically Albinov's correct. That's what a virtual environment's for. If you run all of these tools in your local computer, it's going to kill your computer with like storage and running space. So definitely very important. Let me go ahead and do. Okay, perfect. The slides are back in. Definitely really unfortunate that it just decided to do that in the middle, but that's not great, but that's okay. We're gonna go back. We're not gonna go back through all this. No worries. We're just gonna speed through this part where we've already gone through it. It's gonna go through all the transitions that I made, unfortunately. Come on. These are the cool little transitions I had planned just to make it a little bit more interesting and engaging, but I think it's biting me in the butt now because now it's taking a little bit longer to load, but that's okay. Thank you all so much for your patience. My computer is on its last legs. It's like 8 years old. I refuse to get a new one because it still works, but you know, it's still running a little bit slow. So thank you all so much for your patience. Hopefully this is the last time. I think it got it out of its system once when it restarted. Hopefully that's it. But you know, you never know with these old computers, but fingers crossed that that is all it's going to do. We went through this. We're going to go ahead, go through the pipeline. So many slides that we've already gone through and it's just taking so long. Okay. Oh my gosh. It's like so slow, so slow. Go back. Oh, sorry. Ooh, what did I use to build this slide deck? Oh my God, another AI tool. I used app.presentations.ai. I built out the whole presentation and I was just really tired after I built it out, like building out all the demos. So I just put all of my information, my slides outline into AI and it created the outline for me. So it was super cool. Definitely make sure y'all, check that out. Different templates that you can use to build out very cool AI presentations just to get y'all a little bit more information and interest. So yeah, that was basically what the output was. So thank y'all for paying attention along to that demo. That's kind of the beauty of Hugging Face's API. It brings really, really powerful AI tools to your fingertips, really beginner friendly. And this same one-line pattern that we used works for dozens of other AI tasks. So you just have to change the task name and the pipeline function, like we did sentiment analysis, but if you change it to anything else, you can do something completely different. You can do text generation, summarization, image to text, basically anything that you want as long as it's within the pipeline model. So I think that's very cool. And we'll definitely be able to dive a little bit deeper into that later. So specifically about choosing a model on the hub, Hugging Face hub, it's really, really difficult. And I can definitely understand how it feels overwhelming. There's like over 500,000 models, definitely very hard. It kind of feels like navigating this really big unknown territory. So a kind of simple, I want to give y'all like a quick 4-step framework that y'all can use to find the perfect model every single time. And obviously, this doesn't work for everything, but hopefully this will give you like a quick little intro. So first, I don't want y'all to just browse through the models and go through every single different model. Make sure that you're filtering by your specific task. You'll see that in our live demo and it makes it so much easier because then you can just see the specific models that you need for your task. Second, always make sure you're reading the model card. It's the model's README file, and honestly, basically its soul. Make sure that that's the second. And then third, make sure that you're checking the community signals like downloads and likes. This is basically social proof that your model is useful and also reliable. You want to make sure that people have used it before and it isn't some random model that is going to not really work as well. Finally, the most important step of our 4-step framework, make sure you test drive the model right there in your browser using the inference widget. This tells you if it will work for your use case before you write even a single line of code. And that's actually really useful. So you don't have to to actually build out the whole project and write code, you can just use it natively within the test drive model. There's like an inference widget on the top right. And yes, I mean, there's a new frontier model launching every single day, so it's very difficult. Make sure that y'all are filtering through that. So what can you actually do with these models? And that's kind of what I want to go into with these use cases a little bit. So you can basically do anything with these models, but just to help you feel a little bit less overwhelmed, the applications are very, very vast. You can automate really tedious business processes. So like you can automatically tag and route all your customer support tickets if any of you are in customer support or any ticket business. Or you can build really, really creative tools. You can use apps that generate like super unique logos, or even help a writer, work through their creative block if any of y'all are writers or interested in becoming one. So these models are basically just like Lego bricks that you can use to solve a really, really big range of problems. So I've been talking to y'all about that demo, and I'm going to get started on that demo right now. So we're going to deploy an app with Spaces in 3 minutes. So I've got a couple of instructions here, but don't worry if you can't read all of that. I'm going to be screen sharing my demo the entire time. So no worries about that. I'm going to switch over back to my whole screen demo over here. Let me go ahead and share my whole screen. And that way I can show y'all exactly what I'm doing. Sorry about the infinity screen again. That's just gonna happen when you've got cameras on. But what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go to HTTPS Hugging Face Co. So this is the demo that I want y'all to follow along with. It's super, super quick. Super interesting, can get you building a tool super duper quick. So make sure y'all join into that. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to models. So we want a model that does image to text. So right now I'm gonna show y'all, like I was talking about, we're gonna deploy an app that's gonna be doing image to text. So it's gonna be having an image and you can specifically tell what the image is doing. So we're gonna go image to text just for a really quick demo. And these were the filters I was talking about. So y'all see all these super amazing filters that can narrow down the amount of models that you have to use. So make sure you click on that. I clicked on image to text and I'm going to browse these models. So I specifically think that I like this one. This is the Blip image captioning large. It works super well. You can see that it's got a lot of likes. In fact, it's the most liked, 2.32 million, probably because it's a big company, Salesforce. So definitely make sure y'all are checking the likes and the amount of downloads. So that's kind of adding to its credibility. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on the Spaces tab. So this is the text image model that we're going to be using. And now we're going to go into Spaces. So the Spaces, what I was talking about before, we're going to go ahead and click on this create new space. Oh, okay. So it looks like when I restarted my computer, it also logged me out of Hugging Face. That's great. I don't remember my password. So I'm just going to make an account really, really quick. But yeah, maybe y'all have to do this if you haven't used Hugging Face before. Oh, this is so unfortunate. I'm just gonna put something in totally random, does not matter. Uppercase and 2, okay. Super sorry about this, y'all. I did not expect, oh my God, I don't know what my password is. Okay, let me put another email address. I did not expect my computer to restart in the middle and it closed all my tabs that I had open just for y'all. So this is very, very unfortunate, but it's okay. We'll power through it, and thankfully heavy processing computers or processing power. So we can go through this super, super quick. Oh my God. Okay, just something random. But yeah, I guess I ran y'all through really quick how to create an account on Hugging Face if y'all needed that. But I'm going to create this new space. Call it whatever you want. I think I'm just going to call it like image describer or something like that. But make sure y'all can call it whatever you want. I'm going to choose Gradio for my SDK, and I'm going to go ahead and choose public for my visibility so y'all can see that too. You can do whatever you would like. I do public just so we can access it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me go ahead and confirm my access. I'm not honestly sure if I have access to my email account, but let me double check. Yeah. But please make sure y'all are following along with this demo. I promise it's going to be worth your time. It's going to feel really, really cool once you've been able to make something uniquely by yourself. That feeling never really goes away of making something by yourself. So definitely make sure you are doing that. It is not authorizing my email. Deeply unfortunate. Oh my gosh. This is not fun. Yeah, let me know if y'all are having any issues with Hugging Face or any login issues. I'd be happy to help. I'm switching back and forth between the tabs. And I would love a distraction right now while I'm trying to confirm my email. So let me know. Oh, it keeps saying not authorized. Why? Oh my gosh. This is so deeply unfortunate. Why is it doing this to me? Oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. Promise I'm working on this. Trying to get it done very quick. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. Why does it keep saying not authorized? Oh my gosh. Okay, it's because it's logged into a different account. That's fine. Wait, actually, I think I'm going to stop exposing my passwords. 1 second. Let me just log in really quick. But yeah, Way's right. In the meantime, make sure you all check out the best project this Global Hack Week. We're going to be demoing a couple of projects, and we're going to be going through that. So that's super cool. Make sure y'all go through that. I'm just going to try to create this Hugging Face Spaces account really, really quick because this is going to be really important for our demo. Hopefully we get it working, but let me try one more time. But yeah, let me know if y'all are having any trouble with creating your accounts. I'd be happy to help with anything. I know I'm also having trouble creating my account right now, but I promise I've done this demo and I've had it working before. So just let me know if you need any help. Let me try to log in to another account because it's not liking this one, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a really cool project. So make sure you all check that out. In the meantime, while I'm trying to figure this out, if you haven't already made your account and you're just waiting on this demo to be figured out a little bit, make sure y'all go ahead and check that out kind of as like a meantime breaker. Ooh, I think I got it up and running. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yay. Google Apps coming to save the day for me. Whew. Okay. That was very, very scary. Okay, so yes, that is the project. Make sure y'all check that out. But now we're going to go back to our demo. So like I was saying, create a new space. I'm going to call it, again, image describer like I did before. I'm going to pick Gradio as my SDK, and then I'm going to go ahead and do public. So, okay, now we've got your space. Thankfully, this is working again. Okay. So make sure y'all are going through that space, and it's going to set up like a Git-like repository for your space. I was saying it's kind of like GitHub. This is what I was talking about. So we're going to go ahead and add an app.py file with code. So we're going to go into files. We're going to click add file. So you click contribute and you click create a new file, and we're going to import a long line of code into the editor. I was going to type it with y'all, but honestly, because of all the tech issues, I'm having a bit of trouble doing that. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in. So basically, this is what I have here. Let me put it in, and I'm going to do return result. I'm going to do all the, the tabbing, indentation in just one quick second, and I'll send this in the chat so y'all can have a quick reference to use for this, just in case. Let me go ahead and make sure that's all properly indented before I send that to you. Yes, that is good. Oof. Very long text incoming. Super sorry about that. Oh, it looks like it split it up into 2 tabs. Make sure that y'all put that into 1 tab. So that's going to be your first file. Again, this is like the industry standard. I'm just going to do like app.py. It's just easier. You're going to commit directly to the main branch, and you're going to commit new file to main. Typically, you put in comments. We don't really have time for comments, but if y'all have some time, make sure you'll do that later. And we're going to go ahead and also add in another file. So, oh, didn't like that. Let's go back. Okay. We're going to add in another file. So we're going to go back to files and click create a new file. Now we're going to call this requirements.txt. So remember how we specifically went through and installed all of these libraries? So this is a virtual space and it doesn't have that same technology, but we don't have a terminal here. So we're just going to go ahead and have a requirements.txt file. And now when Hugging Face runs, it's going to be able to have these tools and know that it needs to download these libraries specifically. Make sure you specifically call it requirements.txt so it knows what that's for. And we're going to go ahead and commit that new file to main as well. So something really cool about Hugging Face, it's already building our live website. So you can see it, it's currently building, and we can see the logs going on here, exactly what's happening and exactly what it's doing. Once you see this container come up to 100%, you'll know that your website is live. So yeah, this is going to be a really, really cool built out website once it's done. I think, yeah, it should be running pretty soon. But it might take a little bit longer. But yeah, you can see it's downloading all of these different tools. I might go ahead and just switch to my pre-done one just so that I can save a little bit of time for y'all and cover a little bit more info, but it'll keep building that. Yeah, this one's running, so I'll just go ahead and do this one. But this will definitely build out if y'all are running it at home. And yeah, this will just keep building, but this is kind of what the image describer is. So let's say I want to go ahead and upload a slice of cake or something like that. I definitely had cake somewhere in here. Cake. No, okay. Oh, demo picture. Perfect. This is the cake that I'm going to upload. Delicious piece, delicious slice of cake. If any of y'all have any favorite flavors of cake or anything like that, drop that in the chat. I think I really like chocolate mousse. Chocolate mousse is very good. But I've submitted that. It's processing the image right now, and eventually it'll upload the image and the Apple Describe. Perfect, instantaneous right there. So this is a cake with a bunch of frosting on it, obviously. So this is kind of how that really quick access can happen really quick. So that was a demo. We just built a bunch of code and we were able to get the image describer up and running. So y'all's will be building out in just a little bit. As you can see, it's still building for mine, but that just might be because my computer's slow. If any of y'all have got it running, let me know in the chat. Hopefully you have, but if not, no worries at all. We can just keep moving on and talking a little bit more about this. So it's able to analyze any picture and give you what you want. So obviously, it doesn't give you as much detail as you would think. So like chocolate cake with frosting, but it's able to give you the basis of like, this is a cake and it's got frosting on it. So yeah, those are the basic details. The reason why I did public was so that y'all can have this kind of public URL that you can use, and it'll be on your log. So right here, and that'll be your log. It's not really working for me, but that might be there for y'all. And yeah, you can see it's starting up right now. It's going to be provisioned on Hugging Face infrastructure, so hopefully it's working for y'all. Ooh, what were the comments of requirements.txt? So glad you asked. Let me put that in for you right now. So you're just going to do transformers, Gradio, and Torch. Those are the libraries you need installed. All you need to do is put that through your requirements.txt file and commit that, and you're good to go. It'll download all the files that you need, and you'll get this. So y'all can upload any specific image that you want and analyze that image. It'll be super duper cool. So you now have a live working web AI app, which I think is super cool, and hopefully y'all do too. If any of y'all are running into any problems with it, just let me know and I would be happy to help. Make sure that you're putting transformers, Gradio, and Torch in different lines. It's not really converting well on the Twitch and MLA or Twitch and YouTube streams, but definitely make sure to check that out. If it's not running fast enough, you might want to change the model, but y'all can also just keep it running in the background while we move on to the rest of the demos. So definitely make sure that y'all are able to get that up and running. If you have any questions at any point, just text it and I would be happy to help y'all. Also, just like some fun little bonus tips if you want to go back and customize this project later. You can customize the title, description, and style using Gradio's parameters. If you want to test another model, you don't want to use the Salesforce text to image model, you can also just change the model name in the line. So specifically that would be, let me go back. That would be this line where it's like Salesforce equals blip.imaging. You can just change it to a different model name using those filters. And then you can go ahead and pick any model that you want. I just picked that one because it was like most downloaded, most used, definitely works for sure. So it was just a little bit easier and more assurable to go with that one. So yeah, if y'all want to share the live app with others, you can. It's fully hosted and public, and you can go through each of those URLs. So now we're going to be switching to a second tool. I hope y'all really enjoyed that demo on Hugging Face because I totally did, and I hope it was very, very interesting for you. I'm going to be moving on to the next tool, which is Streamlit. I'm super excited about Streamlit, and I'll go ahead and present that back for y'all. So that was our live demo, just in case you were a little confused, but that was our Hugging Face live demo, and we're going to go back and go through Streamlit. So something I want to shout out really, really quick. Oh, there it is that Streamlit is one of our super, super cool MLH partners. Oh, sorry. If you're going to have it. Oh, thank you, crackers and cheese. Yeah, somebody did actually unfortunately have to leave the MLH stream because there was an accidental fire alarm, so they had to evacuate the building. So thank you, really appreciate that. We've had a couple of glitches, but thankfully nothing too major. Been able to get it back and running, so that's great. And now kind of transitioning into the second part of our really cool 3-tool framework that I was giving y'all. Now we're going to be moving on to Streamlit. So Streamlit is one of our Major League Hacking sponsors. So definitely make sure that y'all are able to check that out. And yes, Wei, it was UT. He unfortunately ran into a couple of problems there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat so y'all can see that. Make sure y'all click on this link if you're interested in Streamlit. If you like any part of my demonstration regarding Streamlit, click on that link. Super amazing resources. I think somebody earlier was asking for extra resources. And yeah, Hello Pal Zero was asking for some reading sources. So definitely make sure that you check out that link. It's our Streamlit's one of our partners. So super cool with that. And yeah, we're going to get a little bit more into diving deeper into what Streamlit is, if y'all don't know. So basically, now that we know where to find our AI models, which is Hugging Face, how do we build a really super cool custom front end for them without needing a web development team? So this is where Streamlit's going to come in. Streamlit is a basically game-changing Python library that turns data scripts into shareable web apps within literally minutes. And you're going to see that in the demo. I want to repeat, like, super most important part, y'all don't need to know any front-end languages. This is supposed to be like a very low barrier intro in session. So no need to know any languages, no HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you can write a Python script, you are now a web developer. That's literally all you need. And if you can't write Python, no worries. That's why I'm giving y'all the code. So no worries about that. But that's basically what Streamlit is. It's just like a Python library, turns scripts into interactive web apps. And it's super simple. So let's go ahead and talk about its magic core concepts. So the philosophy of Streamlit is very simple. As you're going to see with a lot of these tools, it's very low barrier to entry, very easy to understand, and it runs your script from top to bottom every time a user interacts with something, which is a very natural way to think about how the program flows. It kind of has these things that I like to call like magic commands, where you can just kind of type in a variable name on a line by itself, and Streamlit is like really intelligent, so it's able to render it on the page almost immediately. Creating interactive widgets is basically as simple as just assigning a variable, and it's very intuitive, and honestly it'll feel magical, which you'll see in the demo coming up. So now going a little bit more, okay, it's going backwards. 1 second, let's go forwards. I've never used this web interface before. This was new for this stream because I wanted to make a fun little PowerPoint, and clearly it's a little bit of errors. But yeah, so this is honestly probably one of the most crucial and critical concepts for building AI apps within Streamlit. Loading a big AI model can take a lot of time and memory, like we just saw. Like it was taking a really long time to build that model on Hugging Face, and you absolutely can't afford to do that every single time a user clicks a button, because then your users won't have any models. So the solution is caching. I know it looks like caching, but it's caching. I feel like there's different pronunciations, but I think I've heard caching more. So basically you can add a single line, and it's a decorator called @st.cache_resource. And on top of your model loading function, if you add this single line, you can tell Streamlit to run this function only once, and then reuse that loaded model for every subsequent user and interaction. So this one line is very key to making your AI apps fast and efficient. So make sure y'all are caching. That resource is going to be explained a little bit more in the demo, but it's just @st.cache_resource, and it just makes sure that you're only running that function once. Oof. Oh my gosh, it's going backwards again. That's not great. Okay, perfect. So back to kind of what script does for you. What Streamlit does for you. A simple script is super great, but to make your app look very professional and very polished, you see these web designers and Python developers' portfolios looking very cool. If y'all want yours to look like that, you're gonna need to control the layout. So Streamlit makes this very easy. Again, very low barriers entry level technology. Again, with the single line command, you can create a sidebar for controls, arrange elements and columns, organize content into tabs, and use expanders to hide less important information. And we'll be using these in the demo as well, so you can get a little bit more information on how to use these tools. So this helps you build a really complex, clean UI without writing any complex code. So this is kind of going back to what I was saying about, like, you don't need to be a fancy web developer. You just, you can have anything that you want very, very easily done. So now we're going to be moving on a little bit to like the key to building these really cool chatbots that y'all have been using recently. So we're going to get to a very crucial concept that an app needs for memory, which is state management. So by default, a Streamlit script is stateless. What does stateless mean? It just means that it forgets everything on each rerun. So if you want to build a chatbot that remembers the conversation history, what you have to do is st.session_state. That's just a really simple line that makes sure that your model remembers the conversation history. It's basically just a Python dictionary that keeps going in between each rerun iteration. So the pattern is super simple. You check if your list of messages exists in the session state. If not, you'll just create that list of messages. Every time the user says something, you add both to their message and the AI's reply to that list. So now you have this big list of conversation history. Then you loop through the list to display the history. This is basically the fundamental pattern for any conversational AI app in Streamlit, and this is the way that you can keep having your data running. So again, we're going to do part 2 of a live demo. I really want to make sure that I'm doing a live demo for each of these tools to help y'all show y'all that it's like a really easy tool to use and very, very low barrier to entry. Y'all can do it right now. So let me go ahead and install that. So now I want y'all to open up like VS Code Editor. Again, something else that you've been using. I use VS Code because it's usually easier for me. But if you have any other code terminal, make sure y'all are opening that up. And we're going to go ahead and make another project. So let me go ahead and stop sharing that again and go back to my big screen. It's going to show the infinity screen again. Sorry about that, guys. But let's go ahead, go into VS Code. I'm going to open up a new file. So I'll call this one chatbot.py. So make sure y'all are creating a new Python file. Again, you do need Python for this. Make sure you install Python. If you don't have that, you might have ran into that issue earlier with the first demo, but make sure y'all are doing that. And then I'm going to go ahead and install the transformers libraries. I'm going to open up a new terminal so I don't have the problem with the previous one. And I'm going to do pip install Streamlit transformers. And also, I wonder if y'all noticed that I am not doing the virtual environment this time. I ran into a couple of issues when I did the virtual environment the first time, so I'm downloading it locally on my computer. It does run faster, it just takes a bit more space, but if you're going to be using Streamlit, you do need these tools, so you can go ahead and do that, or you can also create the virtual environment using the steps we did earlier. I just found it was easier to run using this. So I'm going to open up this file and I'm going to have in a couple of import statements. I'm going to do import Streamlit as st, so use it really easy. I'm going to do from transformers, just like the other one, import pipeline, just like we did recently. And then I'm going to do st, which is Streamlit.title, and I'm going to call it the creative story helper chatbot, because that's kind of what I want to do with this project. So y'all are going to see how quickly you can build this like kind of helper chatbot that builds this super creative story based on your inputs. And let me make sure, is there anything? Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Thank y'all for telling me mutation and aviolox. I'm definitely mispronouncing that, but thank you for telling me. Can you all see it now? I think you can. Visual confirmation. Anyone tell me yes that you can see? Can everybody see it? Okay, I'm gonna assume that y'all can. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, but if y'all didn't see it, I basically, let me put it down here. So in your terminal, you're gonna run pip install Streamlit transformers, and then you're gonna do pip install torch. So don't put these in your code. You're gonna put this in your terminal. These are the two things that you need to run. Yay, perfect. Okay, infinity screen. Yes, sorry about that. You're gonna run this in your terminal. I already ran it. Like you can see the command here, 1, and then command 2 here. make sure that y'all run those and then type in your code. So you want to do from transformers import pipeline, again, using that same pipeline. Oh, I'm in the wrong form. Import pipeline, you're going to be using that same tool we talked about earlier, and then make sure you're importing Streamlit, which is the tool we're going to be using. You can call your chatbot whatever you want. I'm calling mine a creative story helper chatbot, just so it's like, it helps you auto-generate a story, which I think is super duper cool. So now, like I was talking about before, because we don't want to reload or rerun the model on every single run, because that would make it super slow, we're going to use what I talked about before, which is the st.cache resource decorator. So right below the imports, what we're going to do at st.cache underscore resource. Ooh. So this is what I was talking about earlier with what you want to do specifically. And oh, look, it already generated that for me. That is perfect. So that is actually exactly what we want. We're going to create a definition for load model, that function, and then we're going to go ahead and return that pipeline. Text generation, I'm using model GPT-2. Feel free to use whatever model you want. I just find that one's very quick. And so I've gone ahead and done that. And then I'm going to do model equals load model. So this is going to load the actual model itself. So for demo purposes, again, we use Hugging Face's GPT model. You can swap it with any text generation model. If y'all have like any favorites or anything like that, definitely feel free to swap it out. It doesn't make a difference. So now we're going to go ahead and loop through each of these different messages. So I was telling you about the message history. So Streamlit session state lets us keep track of messages during the app run. So just to make sure that we do that, we're going to add in this quick little piece of text right here. Actually, it's created that for us. Perfect. So what this is doing is if the messages are not in the session state currently, we're going to add in those messages. We're creating this new empty list, and then we're going to add in the messages to that. So that's what that snippet's doing. And then we're going to display that chat history that it's creating up there. So we're going to loop through each of the stored messages and display them using the chat UI. So we're going to do for message. Oh, perfect. It's already got that going. Oh my God, this is amazing. I love auto generate. So yeah, we're going to do for each message in the state session messages with st chat message with the message role. We're going to do a markdown message content. So this is specifically using the st.chat underscore message function to show messages within chat bubbles. So user messages are on one side and bot replies are on the other. So this is it's going to look like the UI of an iPhone or any type of phone that you have. It's going to be that UI of how y'all see the customer, or not customer, sorry, how y'all text each other in like iMessages, or I'm being very Apple-centric, but any messages app that you may use. And I'm also going to head and add a chat input box to the bottom. So this is how the user is going to get their input. So also, just in case y'all are not able to keep up with how I'm typing, I will copy and paste all this code. Do not worry. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do if prompt st.chat.input, and I'm going to do write your story prompt here. So I'm going to ask the user to, I want to see if that works. So I hope y'all's are also auto-generating and it's not just me. Yes, don't worry, Aviolax. I will copy and paste the chat or code once I'm done in the chat. And yeah, let me just make sure, see if that works. We're going to ask it to write your story prompt here. We're going to append the user message here. That's what this is doing. It's appending whatever the user adds into the session state. State messages, dot append. It's got role, user, content prompt. Perfect. This is going to display the user message immediately. So just because the user enters a message, we want it also to show up in that corresponding text bubble. So that's what this is doing. St chat message, user, markdown prompt. Perfect. This is going to generate our model response. Okay. It looks like it doesn't have that. Perfect. That's okay. We'll just go ahead and add that in. See, this is the problem with AI, y'all. I was telling y'all earlier that, you got to make sure that your AI has the correct outputs, because sometimes it'll hallucinate like this and give you improper code that will not work. So definitely make sure you're checking that. You need to make sure that you have a response model. See, it's generating it correctly now, but it didn't have it before. So I'm going to have a response model prompt. I'm going to do max length 100. You don't really need that long. I don't want to open it up for too many things. And then we're going to add in something called do sample. Just gonna run a sample really quick, and we're gonna do a temperature. We're gonna assign it a temperature. It's just gonna be how consistent the responses are. And that is kind of all I want. I don't want this num return sequences thing. Yeah, so like I was saying, even if you give it exactly what you want, it might auto-generate something wrong. So definitely make sure that you're checking that. And then I'm going to append it to our current state session. So I'm going to do session. Whew. There you go. It's got that running. Perfect. State messages, append, role, assistant, content response. Perfect. And then we're just going to have it display that message. So I don't want any of this. This is all okay. I don't know why we just opened up the dictionary. Where's VS Code? Okay. And we're going to go ahead and delete that because I don't need it to append. Okay, so let me just double check and make sure this is all that we needed. But yeah, right now we're creating the user story prompt. We're adding in that user message. Let me just go over this quick, really explain this to y'all. We're asking the user for their input, then we're adding whatever they decide to send into the current state session, and then we're going to display this message immediately so we can all see it visually. And then we're going to get this, and we're going to get the model response. This is exactly what's generating that model response that you're going to see. It's taking the prompt, max length 100, perfect, the sample, the temperature, and it's going to create that generated text. And then now we're going to append that response to the session state that we were using previously with the role of assistant, perfect. And then we're going to go ahead and display that bot message like we displayed our message. So that is great. Perfect. So that is all the code that y'all need. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Make sure y'all save before you run it in your terminal. Otherwise, it might not work as well as you want it to. I'll go ahead and copy that code over to y'all. Okay. I think it might separate it into two different texts because it's too long. Yeah, it did. Okay. But yeah, that's all you need. But also, y'all, really, really important thing. If you haven't coded before, you do need to make sure that you're properly indenting everything. So definitely make sure you're doing that. If you need the proper indentations, they are here. If you're not familiar with Python, or you just want a little bit more information after every if statement, for statement, if statement with, you need an indentation to make sure it's kind of within that. And you need a colon there. So just make sure you have these proper indentations. I'll leave it up for like a couple more Actually, I'll be running the app here, so y'all can definitely keep taking a look at that. But yeah, so hopefully that code is working for y'all and you're able to get that working. So now I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I saved it already, but I'll save it again just for fun. And I'm going to run that. So what I'm going to do is Streamlit. So I'm calling that tool. I'm going to do run, and then I'm going to call my file, chatbot.py. Perfect. And now it's opening up a local host for me. So it's automatically opening up to this app URL that I've got my local host right here. Oh no, Streamlit has no attribute chat. Let's go check what's going on there. It doesn't like if prompt. Okay, what is going on there? Oh, there it is. Okay, so again, hallucinations. It's supposed to be underscore, not dot. So definitely make sure y'all check that. Clearly, I didn't do enough of a quick little check. But let me start a new terminal, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing. Oh, I don't want to ask Copilot. Go away. I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. Run that same command. So I'm gonna do Streamlit, run, and then I'm gonna do chatbot.py again. Hopefully, I don't have to reinstall all my. I don't think I do. Perfect. It's running. Just in case y'all didn't see that change I made, let me go ahead and edit that. So it's actually going to be, I lost it. It's going to be this sentence instead of the sentence there. So it's going to be, all the change I made was the underscore input instead of dot input. So it's chat underscore input, not chat dot input. Also, thank you all so much for staying with me for so long. We've passed that 1 hour mark a little bit a while ago. I wasn't checking the time, but thank you so much for staying with me. I know this is a really long session, but I'm really hoping that we can get y'all through these 3 tools and get you the tools that you need to start building with GenAI. So super excited about that. Oh my gosh, where did it go? Okay, I think it opened up it didn't open up a new tab. Can y'all see my creative story helper chatbot? I'm not sure. Could someone just confirm really quick? I don't want to be sharing something again that y'all can't see. I feel like there's a lag. Oh, yes, Thank you, Bamble772. Perfect. Glad that y'all can see that. So now we're going to go ahead and you basically have this fully functional chat bot. So I want some user interaction really here. So I'm going to wait until 9:20, which is 2 minutes in case y'all are not in Central Time. And I want y'all to give me a fun little story prompt. Please make it appropriate. Please make it relevant. Give me a fun little story prompt. So it can do anything. It can generate a really cool story. I did something with like a person walked into a bakery and ate cake or something. So y'all can do anything really related to that. But I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes. Please enter some prompts in for me. I will not judge. I will pin you on the screen. Please. It would be really cool if y'all could enter in some prompts for me while we're waiting for that. And be waiting a little bit. Y'all will get a special shout out if you mention a specific prompt. If not, no worries. I can also just make one on my own. I get that y'all are tired. You're probably trying to make your own projects run. But if anyone could send anything, it doesn't have to be anything super elaborate. It can be something super short, just like, Bob walked into the forest and saw a tree, and that can be your story. If any of y'all want to be bold and take the step to share anything. But if not, no worries. I'm going to wait for 1 more minute. Oh, y'all can do anything you want, anything related. I'll ping you on the board. Okay, no worries, no worries. It's okay. I get that y'all are busy and you're probably working on your projects. No worries. So let me just go ahead and do what I was saying. Ooh, okay. So Bob is doing a technical stream about programming. So you can see that user message is popping up with that chat bubble that we created. Let me just double check and see. Okay. And right now it's generating that story response. So you can see it's got that running. Oh my God, yay, perfect. So this is this fun little story that it's creating. It's a little confusing. It doesn't really make too much sense. It just kind of goes back and forth like, yeah, that's the basic idea of programming. But this is a super basic, very quick demo that I just wanted to show y'all. So that's really cool. You could interact. I can be like, give me some more. And you can interact with the chatbot, just like how you interact with all your chatbots. And you can see it's got this like little running feature, so you know that it's going on in the background. So I think it's just going to keep trying to generate some more chatbot ideas for this like story generation, and you can communicate back and forth. Oh, okay, yeah, there's some more. I think it's trying to be motivational, but yeah, that was very cool, very cool. So I'm going to go back to the slides and we're going to cover our last tool. Super fun. Let me go back. Abiolex, I'm not really sure what any cost means. If you have more context to that, I'd love to answer whatever question that was. But thank you all so much for paying attention to that second live demo. Yeah, that was kind of the slide for the demo. And it does remember the conversation from start to finish. Can we generate as we want? Yes, you can generate as much as you want. It's not going to cost you on Hugging Face right now. I think it will give you a notification when you run into a rate limit later. So no worries, you can generate as much as you want. The model I created just for now just might not be as well fleshed out as it should be, like you were seeing like a couple of errors, and that just might be because it was like a really quick demo. If you want some more information and some more details about that, then you should definitely go ahead and edit that model a little bit more. This is just like a really quick introduction, but yeah, y'all can definitely generate as much as you want. So now heading into our final tool. Okay. I think it's actually going to go through all of this. Yeah. Okay. I had these slides pulled up, but we ended up doing the live demo on VS Code. So that worked just in case as a backup if it didn't work. So let's go ahead and keep powering through. We did all this, display history, generate an update. Yeah, and we coded it live. Perfect. So now we're moving on to our final tool of the session. Can we believe we're almost there, almost done? And we're going to be moving on to Cursor. So if any of y'all have heard about this tool, very, very cool native AI code editor. And I think it gives you a lot of really increased functionality. It's very, very cool. So this is our final tool, and we're going to be doing our final demo coming up here in a little bit. Thank y'all so much for paying attention so far. Really appreciate it. And if y'all have any additional questions or anything else that's not working with your demos that I was showing before, just let me know and I would be happy to cover that. I'm checking very frequently. But just a quick overview of what AI Cursor is. Basically what we've done so far, we have our models, we've built our UI. Now we're going to talk about the tool that we can use to write code itself. So this is Cursor. Cursor is a code editor that's been rebuilt from the ground up specifically for the purpose of developing with AI. The best part of Cursor is that it's actually a fork of VS Code. So all of your extensions, themes, and shortcuts will work as soon as you download Cursor. Now here's the little FYI PSA that I've got going on. Make sure that y'all start downloading Cursor now. It might take a little bit longer, and I want you to have it ready by the time that we have the demo so that y'all can code along with me. So if you don't already have Cursor, make sure that you download it. I can put a download link in the chat just so that y'all go ahead and download that and you're able to get that in your computer. Even though it's a fork of VS Code, it still does require an additional download. So I'll go ahead and share that for a little bit just so y'all can go ahead and get that download link. It's a really cool AI tool and you can use it in any of your code development, maybe even at a future hackathon if y'all are going to those a lot. So yeah, this is Cursor. It's basically a supercharged AI that can understand your entire project and it acts as a really true pair programmer that you can talk to. So if any of y'all have done pair programming, it's a super cool concept where you're able to collaborate and you're able to kind of interact with somebody else while you're programming. And instead of another person, now Cursor can be your pair programmer. So something I want to do like a quick comparison between is just in case if y'all have used GitHub Copilot before, I'm sure you're like, they're kind of similar. And that's true. Honestly, the difference is very, very subtle. It's fundamental. It's kind of based on how the models are built. And they are both very phenomenal tools. But for this demo, we're going to be using Cursor because I feel like a lot of y'all have used GitHub Copilot. And I wanted to do a new interesting tool that a lot of people haven't used. So GitHub Copilot is a really, really cool tool, but it's fundamentally an auto-completion tool. It's kind of like, if you think about it, if any of y'all work in software engineering or you know anything about it, it's kind of like a junior dev engineer who's really good at finishing your sentences and writing boilerplate code, which is the basis of a lot of different functions. Cursor, however, is an integrated reasoning environment. That's what they call it. So it's kind of like a senior level software engineer / architect that you have a very high level conversation with. So you can ask Cursor to refactor code across multiple files, design a new feature, and it can also understand the context of your entire project. Both of these tools are really, really great. But honestly, they solve different problems. And Cursor understands your project and can design new features, whereas GitHub is more auto-completion and it kind of is really, really great at finishing your sentences. So those are the two differences. Cursor is a bit more interactive and a little bit more intensive, so I thought I would cover that. Let me explain a little bit about what Cursor is. So these are some really cool advanced features that I wanted to cover regarding Cursor because I think they're very cool. Cursor has a lot of really, really powerful tools and features that go way beyond a basic chat. So you can use @ symbols to give the AI very hyper-specific context, pointing it to a specific file, function, or even the official documentation for your library. So this makes its responses really, really accurate if you're able to use this @ symbol. You can also use the AI debugger to diagnose errors. You can just ask it why the code failed. No longer do you have to debug by yourself. You just ask the AI why it failed. And also, if you do Control K or Command K for those Mac users out there, including me, you can move beyond editing and prompt the AI to generate basically all new files from a very high level description. And it's fundamentally changing the speed of development. So these are some really, really cool advanced Cursor functions and features that you can use. And also, if y'all saw in the chat, Wei did say stay after because Wei's got a Copilot workshop right after this one. And definitely we can compare the features. Y'all can go to both of these workshops and tell us which ones you like better in our MLH Discord chat. I think you'll like Cursor better. I think it's a little bit more functioned, but GitHub Copilot is very, very useful for auto line completion and a lot of other tools. So definitely stay for Wei's workshop after and check that out. So that was a bit of a background about Cursor. There's a lot of things in Cursor that you can do that you will learn as you use Cursor. It's a really cool tool. You can use it to access a lot of different features. But right now we're going to jump right into the demo just to make sure that I'm maximizing the amount of time that y'all have. So we're actually going to build on something that we already built. So we're going to go back to our Streamlit chatbot app and see how Cursor can handle a more complex task than just the chatbot itself. Yeah, mutation. I can't tell if that's musician or mutation. But yeah, they mentioned that one time they were using GitHub Copilot, they got an error they couldn't fix. Oh, and then they took the project to I like that, I'm pinning that. They took the project to Cursor and it fixed it in one prompt. So that's perfect. Yeah, so that's definitely great. Yeah, Cursor sometimes can have a couple of problems on your native laptop, and VS Code is definitely a better editor to use, but Cursor is also very useful. So we're going to go ahead and go with our live demo, and we're going to go back to our chatbot project. So let me just insert that or import that with behind the scenes, just so I'm not exposing any of my file names or anything like that. I think I have done that a couple of times, but it's okay. What y'all need to do is once you've downloaded Cursor, make sure that you're adding in your function that you used previously. Actually, I think I can just go ahead and show you. It's fine. I think I've doxed myself one too many times. Oh, we'll never use Cursor. Yay, Pratik, very glad. Definitely make sure you use Cursor. That you are exactly the type of person that the session is for. I want to get y'all really interested in these tools, especially if you haven't used them before. So definitely make sure you use it. I really hope that this intro to the tool helps you get more interested in it. And yeah, Cursor does load up Albulux. Cursor does load up very slowly compared to VS Code. Sometimes you do have to uninstall it and reinstall it, but hopefully you're able to get it working. Let me go ahead and start sharing that again. So glad that sharing is working now. Was worried there for a second. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into Cursor. I'm going to click File, and I'm going to open up my file. Usually you open up a project, but since my computer restarted, it closed my project. So I'm just going to open up my chatbot.py file. So this is the file that y'all made before. Remember, I did copy and paste it in the chat. Just scroll up a little bit, and it's right here. Make sure that you change this one line here. It was a typo right there. But yeah, this is the chatbot py file that we made. I personally, Cursor is very cool with the color demarcations. VS Code doesn't have that many cool features, but I really like the way that Cursor changes the colors. So we're going to load the file into the Cursor environment. So this is the Streamlit chatbot code. This is what made that really cool creative story bot that you see here that was kind of having a little bit of problems there. But once we've loaded that in, make sure that y'all, file, add in that file. What we're going to do is we're going to refactor the model loading function into a separate file. Basically what that means is we're just moving the model into a different file. So we're going to highlight this function. This is the function that loads our model, because, definition load model. And we're going to do Control L. It might be Command L on your computer if you've got a Mac. And what that's going to do is that's going to open up a new chat. So in this chat, I'm going to type in refactor this function into its own file called utils.py. So it's going to make a new function and import it back into the main app file. Let me copy and paste that in for y'all, just in case you weren't able to get that. You're just going to put that in once you've done Command L or opened up a command chat any other way that you need to. And you're going to go ahead and submit that to Cursor, and it's generating right now. And as you can see, it's actually waiting for approval. So it's asking me, can I make this utils.py file? Of course you can. That's what I asked you to do. And perfect. It went ahead and made that file. So that's amazing. It basically just copied into here. And it's choosing not to do the SD cache resource because we already did that once. And yeah, it's asking for a couple of other changes. Let's just go ahead and accept those. So it's just calling these. So now it's telling you what it did. It's saying that it moved the model function into a new file. It's now imported into your main file. So that's what it's done here. You're setting that model here, cached load mode, and it's wrapping it with an imported function. So that that was the purpose of Cursor, so it can help you refactor some functions and move things around. Very, very cool. It created a new file, utils.py, and moved the load function there. And it also added the from utils import right here that you're going to see. Yeah, from import here at the top of your app.py. It added this in. Well, once I accept that, it added it in so you can import the model that you created in another file. There's not really a specific use case for this specifically here. But just to show you that y'all can refactor your code and move it around anytime that you want, just for helpful purposes. And now we're going to add in a sentiment analysis feature. So I was kind of showing y'all earlier about the sentiment analysis, but now we're going to take it a step level higher. So before, we just kind of had this bot that was like, oh, like natively within the terminal, like this is a positive sentiment. But now I'm going to show y'all how to do it within your chat specifically and have a fun little bubble associated with it too. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to ask Cursor to do it for us, because why do it when you can ask Cursor to generate? But remember, again, you do need to double check that all of this is correct, because Cursor can hallucinate, can come up with a lot of different errors. So definitely make sure that you're reading through this code. And if you have any errors, just know that that might be because Cursor is hallucinating or it just isn't doing very well. So right now I'm going to do Control K. So this is activating Cursor's code generation mode. I put my cursor down at the bottom because that's kind of where you want to add the feature that we're going to add in the sentiment analysis. So I'm going to type in add a feature. So I wanted to add a feature. Feature to analyze the sentiment of the AI's last response using the, and I'm going to call a specific model. So Cardiff, NLP, Twitter. So this is a specific model, like I showed y'all how to get those different models. This is one of those models that works pretty well, very fast, very effective. And I'm going to display the results as a either positive, neutral, or negative. So it's going to display the sentiment for me based on these things, and it's going to display it as a badge below the response in the Streamlit UI. So that way, it's not just like something native in your terminal and plain, it's a badge, which I think is very, very cool. So let me just make sure that's good before I paste that into y'all's chat. Cardiff, NLP, Twitter, Roberta based sentiment. Perfect. Let me go ahead and send that to y'all. I am actively monitoring the chat, so let me know if y'all have any questions. And yeah, I'll pin that. So just if y'all need that, that's the instruction that you're going to give to Cursor, Command K or Control K. And right now, what that statement does, Cursor is going to find and import the Cardiff NLP Twitter Roberta based sentiment model name, and it's going to use Hugging Face transformers, like I showed you how to find those models through the filter. It's going to import that model. Then it's going to write a function that runs sentiment analysis on that AI response text. The AI is generating something through the story generator, and now that model is going to analyze the sentiment of what AI generated. Then we're going to integrate that function into the Streamlit app code. Finally, we're going to add that Streamlit UI code to display the sentiment result as a badge below the chatbot's response. So previously what we had was we just kind of had this native UI inside the terminal, and it just said like, positive 0.998. That's what we saw before. But now it's going to be a really cool, fun badge. So I'm going to go ahead and send that to Cursor. And it's going to be generating. It's working through that. See, perfect. It writes this beautiful code for me. And actually it gave me these fun little emojis. Like gave me a smile for positive, a sad for negative, and just like a neutral for neutral, I guess. And let me go ahead and do that. So I'll accept that. I like that code. So again, make sure you're reading through that and double checking. Let me take that off actually. Okay. And double checking and making sure that that code is correct. It looks right to me. It's mapping it. It's calling in the right model. It's putting that sentiment result in. I think that's good. So now I'm going to go ahead and save that. Always remember to save before you run. Saves yourself a lot of heartache. I'm going to open up a new terminal. And I'm going to run the Streamlit app. So guys, this is a really quick demo. We were able to get it running. We opened up this new file. We refactored the code. You don't really need to do this. I just did it to show y'all additional features that you can do. You can keep the load model definition, like load model function within chatbot.py. It really doesn't matter. Just some additional features to help y'all. And like I was showing y'all, you can do Command L, Control L, or Command K, Control K, doesn't really make a difference. The only difference is, like you saw, if I do Command K, then it generates it within the code editor. But if I do Command L, we can chat with the bot. So it's a little different because Command K is more, it kind of edits it within the line and it focuses on that. But Command L is more chatting with the bot. So you can go back and forth with it and you can see specifically what it did. So here it's just kind of like, it just wrote the code. It's not really telling me what it did. But if I wanted to see that, I could go in and ask it to chat with me. So that's the code. Hopefully y'all were able to get that to work. No worries if it doesn't look exactly like mine. Again, AI generates things really, really with a wide variety. So you can always get different features, different lines of code. As long as it works, there's no problem. Just make sure you're quickly reading through that. And if you're not really able to understand it, no worries. Just see if you can run it. And then if not, we can troubleshoot later. So I'm going to do Streamlit run, and I'm going to do chatbot.py. Don't copy me unless you called your Python file chatbot. Make sure that you use the file name that y'all used. And I'm going to go ahead and run that. Oh my gosh, perfect. It's got my local host running for me. Again, we've got Streamlit. It's running. It's running the cached load model. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Could y'all please, pretty please, give me a story input this time? I really want a customer or a custom audience interaction story input. I will feature you. I will pin you, please. Anything that y'all can give me would be absolutely amazing. Just a quick little starter template for a creative story. It can literally be anything. I said Bob was running a technical stream in my last one. I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes again. I would really appreciate it if one of y'all could give me a quick little prompt. We've got 28 people watching. I know y'all are busy. I know you're busy working on the code, but if y'all could give me a prompt, that would be amazing. This is our last demo for today, so you'll be featured in the last demo if you give me a response. Please. But no worries if you can't. Again, if y'all are busy, you're trying to get this to work. I know it's hard, especially because you all are learning new tools. Oh, yay! I love this. Is amazing. Thank you so much. Mutation, musician. I'm not really sure. Actually, it's definitely mutation. AI finally became sent. Oh, I don't. Oh, okay. That is cool. Okay. We will do it. I don't know if it will respond because I feel like it has guardrails in place, but we will put that in as our story prompt. This is definitely going to create some chaos, but thank you for that. So as you can see, it's showing the user and it's going through that. Let me make sure I pinned. I did. Perfect. So it's generating the story right now. You can see my user prompt showed up, me generating my little story prompt that hopefully the AI will respond to and not get mad over. Oh, okay, it did. So honestly, like this chatbot is a little interesting. It's very, very repetitive, but yeah. Oh, we have a species with sentient abilities. That's definitely creepy. Thanks to Mutation for getting ahead with that. But that's a really interesting story prompt. Hopefully y'all can tweak around with that and see if you're able to get some more information about that. That was real. Oh, that's the wrong one. That was really, really cool. So yeah, that's the code. That was the live demo. So hopefully y'all were able to get it working. And specifically what we implemented was this sentiment analysis. So remember previously we saw in the terminal and it was just like, oh, like sentient positive 0.998. But now it has this very cool little badge and an emoji, and it's more aesthetically formatted. And you can also enter in something else. Bob was super happy. And then hopefully it'll return a happy prompt, and then it'll return that it was also happy. So you can see that it grayed out this sentiment because now it's analyzing the next AI's prompt once that comes out and generates. So yeah, Bob was super happy, the final game, and there you go. See, it does give you different sentiment analyses. So this one is positive. It's got a smiling face, 0.87, very positive. It's probably 0.87 because it's got words like, oh, like it was a tough game, we worked hard, like I don't think it analyzes specific words, so that's probably why it's not as high as it was before. But yeah, that was a really quick demo about how we were able to get that running. And as you can see, we can chat as much as we want with the bot, and we are able to see how that sentiment badge appears below each AI generated response and actually regenerates every time the AI creates a new response, and it indicates whether it's positive, neutral, or negative. So you can customize these as much as you want. As you can see, like it specifically did like a emoji label, a score, and it had these different labels. So it was able to come up with these different features that y'all could definitely come up with as well if you tried. And y'all are definitely going to go ahead and get trying to that very soon. Hopefully y'all are interested in this. I think it was somebody earlier that was saying they've never used Streamlit, but they're very excited. Oh my God, I want to find it. Ooh. Yes, for Theek. Never used Cursor before, but very excited to use it after the session. Hopefully, I got your interest peaked, and hopefully you were able to find some value in the session, especially with the rest of y'all. So now you can celebrate the speed of using Cursor, because look at that. We were able to spend basically seconds refactoring this code that might have taken 10 minutes manually to complete. Like you have to create a new file, you have to put it here, you have to put in a new import statement, make sure it works. Honestly, maybe not 10 minutes, maybe like 3 to 5, but definitely a little bit longer. And you can also add powerful new features without hunting for any like documentation or writing boilerplate. It can just write it for you, and any boilerplate that it needs, it'll create for you. And also, your product stays clean, modular, and super easy to extend. As you can see, it wrote it kind of within this modular state as well, which is very useful. It didn't like create something that was a bit of a hassle to look at, which is definitely very fun. So yeah, that was our last demo of the stream. Thank you all so much for participating. Before we move on to our last section, I just want to hear from y'all. What was your favorite demo, and were there any demos that y'all were having some trouble getting to? If so, I could definitely help, and hopefully I'm able to solve some of your problems. Ooh, okay. Wei has a real world use case. You need to parse out first names, last names, emails from a list of contacts. Is there a model for that on Hugging Face? There might be a model for that on Hugging Face. You would have to go through the filters on the list of models and check that out. Like I was showing, you've got those different filters. You've got like text generation, image to text. So that's probably something that you could definitely check out. So make sure you do that. All of y'all, make sure you're going through and looking through those filters and see what different use cases you have. Because you never know, you might be at a hackathon and you might need something and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. And there might be a filter, a pipeline filter that can do that for you. So definitely make sure y'all check that out after. It's on Hugging Faces, the left-hand bar side, and it's got your filters. So very cool. Make sure you check that out. Mutation's got another result. Oh, okay, let's see that. Mutation, the original prompt generator, also came up with their own prompt. Ooh, Mutations is a little bit more interesting. I think mine was very basic and it was like very confusing, but ooh, a Galactic Republic. Wow, this is very Star Wars based. Very cool. Thank you for sharing, Mutation. If y'all had any favorites from any of the demos, let me know. I'd love feedback. But yeah, those were all the three. I think I ended up doing like 4 or 5, but the 3 main demos for each of the tools. And y'all can definitely access that at any time. It was very low level code to make sure that y'all do that through Hugging Face, through Streamlit, and also through all of our different tools that we were able to use. I'm blanking on what the third one was. It was Hugging Face, it was Streamlit, it was Cursor. I just did Cursor. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so those are the 3 tools that we covered. And I'm gonna go into our conclusion now. We're hitting the near end of our stream. So sad. But yeah, those were all the demos that I'm gonna do for today. So if y'all were waiting for any other coding or anything like that, that's all for today. But definitely come and join other streams to see if y'all want to code a little bit more. But I'm going to wrap up our session and give you some more tools really quick. So I just want to zoom out for a quick second and look at the end-to-end workflow that these tools help enable. So I was talking about using these tools at hackathons, and I was honestly being real because a lot of these people use these tools at hackathons. You can start with an idea at a hackathon, and then you can use Hugging Face to discover a model, and then use Streamlit to quickly prototype that solution. So instead of spending hours with your fellow project members and trying to develop and prototype a solution, now you can just do it really quickly with Streamlit. Yay! Mutation definitely liked all the demos. Never used Streamlit before, but I got to try it out. Great. Super glad that you got to try out a new tool. That's the purpose of Global Hack Week. That's what all of the streamers are here for, to make sure that you get to try some new tools and to make sure you get your hands dirty with a lot of different technologies and get some more community education. So thank you for that. But yeah, so once you're at a hackathon, you start with an idea, you use Hugging Face to discover a model, you use Streamlit, you can make that solution super, super quick. And then once you've made sure that your idea is good, you've checked with a couple of other people, would you use it, things like that, you can actually end up using Cursor to build really, really fun, very quick production level code. And then from there, you can move on to more advanced steps like fine-tuning your model to get some more specific results, like how Mutation was able to get that really cool Star Wars result. You can fine-tune your model to give you results like that. And then also, you can deploy it for anyone to use. I've been using localhost just because it's a little bit easier, but you can use apps like Vercel and deploy your app online so that other people can access it universally. So this is kind of your one of your first tech stacks for GenAI. If y'all have never used GenAI, not really comfortable with it, or are getting into it a little bit, this is one of your new tech stacks, and you can move from idea to a deployed application super, super fast. So remember, just one thing really quick that you need to remember is discovery, like Hugging Face. You find these new models, these new things that you can use to create your project. You can prototype with Streamlit, and then you can develop your project with Cursor. So obviously, even though GenAI is very, very helpful, definitely make sure you're checking those inputs. Like we saw AI hallucinating on the stream, and we want to make sure that we are having all of the important information correct and make sure that your code is working. So I'm going to go a little bit more into that here, kind of like our golden rules for building with GenAI. Just really, really quick, don't trust, verify. Don't just blindly trust the AI model. Everybody always tells you not to blindly trust everyone, and that includes for AI. AI is definitely very intelligent, but it can make mistakes. You should treat it as a very, very smart assistant, or an executive assistant, not the all-knowing, powerful being, because it definitely does make mistakes. And also, you want to make sure that you're getting really good at prompt engineering. So I submitted a couple of prompts and showed y'all specifically what the AI wanted to do. Honestly, those were good prompts, but not great. It could have been more specific. It could have been more informational for the AI to understand exactly what I wanted. But just for the purpose of the demo, I went a little quick. But the quality of your output, what the AI generates, depends directly on your input. So we didn't really like the stories that the chatbot was generating. It was kind of long-winded and repetitive. But if I had fine-tuned the model and fine-tuned the prompt a little bit more, maybe the chatbot would have been able to come up with a better solution. So definitely get really good at prompt engineering those prompts to what you want. Third, you should stand on the shoulders of giants, a very fun little term. Use pre-trained models. Don't do something by yourself. You have models that people have downloaded, over 1.4 million people. Just use those models. There's no need to create one when you're starting out, and you can get a little bit more familiar with that as you're going through it. And also, start small and iterate fast. Use these tools to get something really, really quick. If you start really big with this gigantic project idea, it's going to be overwhelming and scary. Just make sure that you're starting with something small. And also embrace feedback. I love whenever I get feedback from anyone. I definitely think that it's a really good tool to grow. We give AI feedback all the time. Think about all the times you use ChatGPT and you're make it more formal, make it longer. that's feedback for AI. So it's definitely very interesting. Obulog says this workload is for prototyping. What about putting it into production? Can we use Hugging Face? So Hugging Face creates spaces with local hosts. You would have to use something like Vercel to deploy something on a web app. So I can do that in another session, but there's also other sessions online and other tools that you can use online to go from localhost to web development, web deployment. So honestly, you could just Google that one like phrase, just like localhost to web deployment, and there's tons of free tools online that you can use. Very, very quick, very easy to understand, lots of instructions online. Hopefully that helped. But yeah, those are just a couple of golden rules. And then also just like some really quick pitfalls that I don't want y'all to fall into, because I have fallen into some of these and I definitely did not want to. So just to make sure that y'all don't fall into those, do not commit API keys to Git. If you don't know what API keys are, it's basically what allows you to use the API. It's unique for you. And do not ever do that, because API keys are like one of the biggest secrets that you can ever have for an API. And it is a catastrophic mistake to expose your API key, because then somebody else has access to whatever credits you may have. Like if you purchase credits, now somebody has access to them, which is not great. And then you need to be mindful of bias. Every model has bias. I'm sure you've seen the news articles about AI like having lots of bias, creating mistakes, creating errors. So definitely be mindful of that. Also, like, don't make sure you're not solving the wrong problem. Don't use like this like big, super gigantic model LLM to solve like a really simple, like, I want to go from here to there, move my code. Just make sure that you're solving the right problem when you're using your models. And finally, don't prematurely optimize. Make sure that you're going through your code and understanding what it is before you like optimize for it. It's more important to build out a product than to optimize for it prematurely, not be able to finish that product. We're almost done, almost to Q&A if y'all have anything. But if y'all want like some more forward steps, I mean, like Obulux mentioned, you can look into deploying your server online through a web deployment. I personally use Vercel, and a lot of people at hackathons use Vercel just because it's free to use, it's very easy to use, very intuitive, and you can integrate it natively within VS Code. So very, very easy. But what we've covered today is literally just the beginning. That's why it's called Tools 101. This is supposed to be a very small intro session to help y'all get more involved within GenAI dev tools. If you haven't before, wanted a quick refresher, or just wanted some more information. So you could do a lot of things from here. You could learn more about fine-tuning models to get more specific responses like you want. You could explore RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, to get some more information. And then you could also just like dive into some more frameworks like LangChain. So these tools are coming out daily. Like I think someone was saying earlier, there's a new model every day, and that's true. There's a new technology every day. So all you have to do is just be willing to learn, and then it'll come to you, and you can get those resources for sure. I didn't quite catch create the app to create the slides. Yeah, it's just app.presentations.ai. It's just that. You can't like create the slides by random. I like gave it a slide-by-slide template based on my demos and outline. And then it was able to create this fun little template for me. Very, very nice, because I'm not visually inclined or artistically inclined. I'm very code inclined. So I created the code and it was able to create this fun little presentation for me. Very grateful for that. So those are a couple of things that you can do. And we are, okay, well, I think it didn't like that. Oh no, let me at least go back. No, oh, that's so unfortunate. Okay, I can just scroll down. No, why is it doing this to me? Okay. It doesn't have a Q&A slide, but thank you all so much for your time and attention. I greatly appreciate a lot of you staying here throughout the stream. It was a really long stream. 2 hours is definitely long to get through. I get back pain after like 45 minutes, so I totally understand if y'all are tired after this, but genuinely thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope I was able to kind of demystify the process around building with GenAI and help y'all get some more introduction into these tools. Also make sure that y'all fill out this feedback form that Wei posted. Thank you, Wei. Definitely very important to fill out feedback. Like I was saying, everybody needs feedback, especially the streamers at MLH. And it is really, really important for us to get feedback so that we can improve our streams for y'all. If y'all were like, oh, there was something really cool, there was something I wish I could have seen more, I wish you would have gone like slower, anything like that, put that in the feedback form session. It's all anonymous. Do not worry about it. And thank you, Avilox. No dull moment at all. Grateful to hear that. Try to make it as engaging as possible for y'all and very interesting. Really happy to hear that. So I'm going to so make sure y'all fill out that link. And also, if you need any resources, just like ask on the Discord. Most of those resources will be there. I think I put the Streamlit link somewhere earlier. Let me see if I can find that. And that's something that you can use to make sure that you can access Streamlit specifically as a tool. I think it's very, very useful. Let me pin that. Actually, I'm not going to pin that, but it is up there. Just scroll a little bit. And it's specifically the tool for Streamlit. We have about like 3 minutes left. I'm really happy to answer any questions that y'all might have. Sorry if this is not enough time for questions. I just wanted to make sure we covered all of the demo material. So if y'all have any questions, just let me know right now. Let me know in the chat. I'd be happy to answer. I'm looking at the chat very actively. So if you have any questions, any feedback, anything interesting that you liked about the session, anything you'd like to see in the future, I'd love to get some feedback while I'm still running the session. I am going to end the stream in 2 minutes because it's about to be over. And yeah, if y'all are in different time zones and it's about time for you to sleep, definitely make sure you take a nap, take some sleep, make sure you take care of yourself. Right now it's 10 a.m. for me, well, 9:58. And I'm not going to be going to sleep because I have some more streams. Make sure y'all join. On the topic of next streams, make sure y'all check out the schedule. I'm actually going to take a quick look at the schedule. I do believe the the Making Better Hacks Faster with GitHub Copilot session is next with Wei that y'all have seen throughout the session, helping and giving some links. So make sure y'all go to that. And also definitely make sure to tell us which tool you like better, Cursor or GitHub Copilot. Definitely okay to like both tools. They're definitely used for 2 different things, but very cool tools to both use. I strongly recommend that if y'all liked this workshop, make sure y'all go to Wei's workshop. Probably posted an announcement in the Discord about it. So make sure that you click on that, register, and go to that link. It's a lot more interactive tools about using an AI companion to code as well. So very useful. And thank you so much, Crackers and Cheese, for coming. I love your profile name. Very funny. Thank you all honestly so much for coming. I'm going to end the stream in a minute. So if you have anything to say really quick, make sure you type it in. Once I end it, I won't see it anymore. But thank you so much for coming, y'all. I really appreciated your attention and your engagement. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm going to wait until 10 just in case. Oh, thank you, Wei. I'm glad you love the workshop. But yeah, just a one quick push towards the feedback link. Make sure y'all click on that. It's highlighted on the screen. I'd really appreciate any feedback y'all could give. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. It's 10 o'clock. Make sure y'all go ahead, go to the next stream. Thank y'all so much for your time. Bye. Make sure y'all join some more streams.